fish living in a dream. One swimming up, one swimming downstream. The Pisces life, 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 the Pisces life.
But I think what it's taught me is that there are some things that I have deprioritized and prioritized other things that actually don't require that level of prioritization, because I prioritized them over to some of these other things because other people required it to be a priority, not something that I have prioritized. And so it's been, one of my daily struggles, one of my lifelong struggles is this right size in my capacity, right? And not overcommitting to things just because there are opportunities for me to do those things. And so I just really have tried to keep my mind focused. And now I'm getting a little anxious because things are opening back up to maintain this space of being moderately productive. That, I don't have to be moving all the time and doing stuff all the time and taking on new projects all the time. And that I really can just if I dare say, if my father was here, he would fall out. Be a little lazy, you know what I'm saying? Because, life is just really beautiful in itself. So it's good to be alive and good to be breathing. But there are just so many things that bring me a lot of joy.
Yes.
Water, and being around water, and certainly traveling, but traveling for leisure versus traveling for business, because what I normally do is package them together, which never really feels like a vacation. So when you come back, you have lots of good memories, but you equally have lots of work too.
Yes.
So that whole really learning how to unplug and really adding those messages at the end of my email to say, I am not available.
Right.
And I will not be checking email. And unless this is an emergency, you may do this. But for the most part, you're going to be all right. Ain't nothing that I'm doing, I promise you, an emergency. I ain't got I'm not doing foster care anymore. I'm not, connected to the emergency systems of our geography. Ain't nothing you want that much of an emergency. So leave a message and I'll get back to you when I return to this station. So,
and realizing that it will all be okay if you're not on every second, if you're not on. I know you had shared with me after when we were online or offline rather, about giving yourself some grace.
Yes.
Being gentle with yourself. And that has really helped me get my thoughts together and recapturing those things that, like you said, brought me joy, reconnecting with those people that I enjoyed spending time with or need to spend more time with or what have you. And just kind of figuring out what this means for me. How we socialize has changed.
Yes.
Forever. I wasn't never really big on more than 10 people anyway. You know what I mean? So my days have passed, and I hate to admit this next part, sis. But the corona has made me embrace the fact that I'm an auntie. I'm like, auntie. It's not just the title, it's a lifestyle.
It is.
My days of the rock, boom, back. Oh, my days of that is it's gone, sis. It's gone. I'm sleepy now. I want a nap right now. Just trying to watch Versus. I need a nap. If they say Versus come on at 8, I got to lay down about 3, which means that I need to be done 8 by 1. Which means I done had to start cooking when I cook breakfast at 7. I'm like my grandmother. I'm cooking breakfast and dinner because I got something to do. But by 3 o'clock, I need to be laying down in my slipping bra waiting for Versus to come on. I got to get that nap.
It's a thing. It's a lifestyle. It's brought it to the forefront.
I didn't want it. I didn't. Oh, let me quit. It's been hard on me.
Is it like this for you? So you look at your day. So yesterday, We had to do some yard work.
Oh.
We had 2 drive-by birthday graduation celebrations to go to, and we was like, "Yep, that's the limit. Three, three things. That's the limit."
They full. I can't do no more. No, this is the point where I'm at. So my cousin, I'm blessed. One of my relatives and her family lives in the next subdivision. I'm at this point. They have teenage daughter and a teenager son, preteen. I'm at this point. I call over there. Hey, somebody send one of them kids on around here. I need. I'm gonna need help lifting this over here, bringing this water in the house. I'm at that point.
There has been such the
God.
the acceptance of truth
Girl,
around like one's desire for their quality of life that Corona has become the mirror for. Like,
yes.
I've looked myself in the mirror, literally and figuratively, and I said, there ain't no reason why I need to have a crop top, nothing. Not a not a crop top. Every crop top in here, be gone, because I am an auntie.
Crop top, be gone.
Aunties is not supposed to be out here showing their stomach. What is I was like, why? I'm like, why is every shirt that I own croppish, topish?
And now I'm thinking back to Essence and LA Comics. You do wear a lot of crop tops, sis. You do. Or the size is out. Look up, shoulder down, one in. But something gonna be, you're right. Your fashion do be, no shade at all. But she telling the truth, y'all.
It's the truth, and aunties, they shouldn't be getting down in the world like that.
No.
So yeah, it's like there's a great amount of acceptance for where we are in the stage of life. And here's the thing, it's not so much that I'm sad that I have matriculated to
That's polite.
to this next stage in life, because I don't like even really miss the old stage, but the fact that I went with such ease, it was just like, yep, I have arrived.
Girl, it was one of those moments where GPS said, you are here. And I thought I was in Hotville,
Yes.
No, you're in Auntieville. You still hot, but you in Auntieville, okay?
Yeah. From all them hot girl summers.
I'm telling you, they said it's going to be the summer of personalities.
And character and values.
As it should be. As it should have always been. Maybe the Corona can get that right.
It's gonna be like, oh, I love the kindness on her. Whew, that kindness is doing me right.
Look at you with your sexy, sweet talking self. What's up, baby? Dang, I like how you wearing your own natural Afro puffs. Is them Afro puffs you done brought back, boo? Looking like the Lady of Rage from 92, boo.
Right. Be like all up in here looking all charismatic. Look at you. Charismatic, girl. That do it for me. Charismatic is a way of life.
Mm-hmm. Girl, is them your real teeth? Look at you. Girl, what is that, your real hair? Is that your very hair? Your very own hair? And your own baby hair too? Oh my, look at you.
Oh,
girl, is them your full eyebrows?
Untouched? Unshaped? Connected?
Oh, Lord Jesus, help us make it through the quarantine, Lord. We trust you that it ain't gonna be long. I think everybody has hit their limit, okay? But I'm telling you, we don't want to rush and get out here because we're going to be right back in longer.
First of all, people gotta understand because they keep saying, I've been inside for 2 months and I'm good. I haven't been sick and nobody I know is good and sick. That's because you ain't been outside. So now you get back outside with people who already had questionable hygienic habits to begin with
Hmm.
and walking around here asymptomatic and such, you know. So there was the story I read, and I can't remember who the author was and who the publication was, but the story goes that 7 degrees of asymptomatic to get to the person who got sick. So
Oh.
that there was 7 people who actually were asymptomatic and then the one person got sick. So when you think about that, think about you
Hmm.
going outside and all of the different people in the different environments that those people have been in and how it's 7 degrees of separation. And what if you are the seventh person to actually catch it and have the symptoms? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
We have tried not to, at least on our regular show, talk too much about COVID-19 and its impact.
Hmm.
But that has certainly been in the back of my mind about reopening. Like, I don't know what's happening in the Michigan area, sis, but has your like Department of Public Health issued a guidance regarding what you should do, like what daycare providers should do, what summer programs, because schools is going to be out soon. Are they doing social distance summer programs? I mean, how do you keep 10 8-year-olds from touching on each other
Girl.
and themselves in a summer environment?
Mm-mm.
Our local pool, which is a fun time for all of the children in the
Hmm.
community, closed and said that it was not going to open because it didn't understand the virus enough to
Safely.
put people
Right.
at risk, and they felt
Hmm.
like that we would know more next summer, and so they just
Right.
apologized for not being able to be available.
Hmm.
So then it just made me start thinking about a whole lot of things that maybe I haven't missed, but what's like the new normal?
Right.
How do we proceed back after things open back up? And is it going to be like the flood of people that you see all over the media? Because they've been
Yes.
showing not only in like domestic, but also globally that as soon as they open things up, everybody just goes back to normal. Now, to be clear, I'm not sure if the Black and Brown community, if we're being a little bit more reserved, and certainly we had some of those things pop up in Michigan and
In Chicago.
Chicago,
Hmm.
where people were having the parties and whatever.
Right.
But we only make up 13% of the population. So, you know what I mean? Those, when you think about it from that perspective,
Right.
it wasn't that many people versus like the majority.
Right. I hear you. Well, we have a few things I think that are uniquely going on here regarding opening up. Number one, there's an open, scary hatred for our governor and the fact that Governor Whitmer, is doing. She's following science. She is listening to everything that is coming out of the scientific world, and including the CDC, who is been making guidelines, I think, under pressure in some realms because they are a federal agency. Also, she's been paying attention to the WHO organization, even though there's an attempt by this current administration to discredit, disfund, and dissuade them from even being remotely effective in this when they were the ones that were providing guidance from the very beginning.
Hmm.
So that's happening. Second thing is these people just want to be out here so bad. Michigan is very seasonal, so is Chicago. So when it's good weather, these people want to be out here. The masks are fewer and fewer, even though it's taped on the door. Michigan law requires a mask upon entering these premises. Ain't nobody stopping these people from coming into certain places.
Hmm.
There's one local store that it's a party store, and they were the only place that I could find lemons for a while.
Hmm.
And so that store opens at 8 o'clock. I know the owner now. I'm in there at 8:02. and I get what I need and I come on up out of there if I need something.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not even enforcing those things. And like I was telling somebody, it's not that I don't think we shouldn't open up. That's not it at all. But I want to do so safely.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we don't open up until we can guarantee that any citizen who does, any citizen, man, woman, child, other, get out here, everybody, them, us, they,
Mm-hmm.
everybody has a test.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even have testing up to date. And if we have testing, we have a backlog of tests here in Michigan. So the numbers that are being reported is a combination of new tests and backlog tests that are coming out positive. Maybe
Right.
that person has been enough time where they've healed. So it's
And
a
it,
lot to pay attention to. I ain't getting out there in the first wave. I mean, my hairdresser called me too, hair braider rather text me and said, I'm doing hair, girl, I'm working. And I said, that is so good. I'm just not ready. I'm not ready.
mm-hmm.
I know me, the way my anxiety is set up, I don't need to be out here.
Because you can't even enjoy it if you are
No.
feeling like overwhelmed. And I appreciate all of the precautions, and I understand, like you, that our economy, if we go 2 more months this way, we're going to have a recession. There's already some things that will not recover in this time.
Right.
There are businesses that have had to not only go out of business, a small, but some of our larger businesses
Yes.
have filed bankruptcy or moving to file bankruptcy. I heard that the car rental company
Yeah.
Hertz
Mhm.
filed bankruptcy. I heard that J.C. Penney is
Yes.
going to be filing bankruptcy and wanting reorganization, and the list will go on and on and on and on. Our unemployment is higher than it's ever been, and there's just a lot to manage. But
Mhm.
even in all of that, what I know that is not going to be helpful for the human spirit is if people just start dying off rapidly, because
Right.
they have not taken the appropriate precautions. And I would rather just weigh on the side of safety
Amen.
than weigh on the side of a coiffed, ponytail with baby hairs popping, etc. For as
Right.
much as I would like to get back to the salon, for as much as I would love to get my nails and my hair done, and not just those, more cosmetic things, but I have some medical concerns. I would like to go
Right.
and see my doctor. I would like to get my physical therapy started back for my back, which has been hurting for
Mhm.
a long time now, and maybe even worse because I haven't, had the treatments or the therapy that is required. So there's some other things that I
Yeah.
would love to be able to get back to, but I still want to do it safely, as you said. I am not in any hurry to endanger the people in my house,
Right.
myself, and others that I love, just so that I can be outside in the world, because I can be outside in the world right here outside of my house. And
Right.
I understand that everybody's outside may be not as pleasant as mine.
Right.
I speak from a very privileged place because I live in a very nice suburb with lots of green space and parks, and
Mm.
there ain't nobody shooting and there ain't nobody fighting in the middle of the street. And
Right.
certainly me going outside and in this place is not a hard ask.
Mhm.
And for others it may be very difficult, and I am sensitive to that. But even in those areas where it may be less than ideal, being outside for those few minutes to only come home and infect your whole family, and now your
Right.
grandmother's passed away, just seems
Mm.
like the price that the price is too high,
Right.
you know?
Right. I wish that we just had a coordinate. The chaos of it all is what's scary and what's heartbreaking. To date, 90,000 plus people have died in the United States alone. It is Memorial Day weekend while we're recording this show over the holiday, and the New York Times put a ad in the paper of all the people that have died of the corona, and it was just, it's a whole page, like 8 point, 6 point, 7 point type. It's a whole entire page of the New York Times. I want us to be out of this soon, but I want it sooner than later, but I want it better than worse. You know what I mean? I want it to be the right timing for us. Um, I wish that there were more coordinated efforts to keep us all safe and to do a massive, state by state, everybody's independently making their own decisions. I saw some leaders, if you want to call them that, in Georgia. We're not going to take this. We're not. We're going to go out here. We're going to live our lives for the long weekend. Nobody's going to stop us. Old country Karen. Country Karen is worse than city Karen any day, honey. Ooh, that rural Karen.
Rural Karen is vile and uncaring.
Uneducated and uncouth.
It ain't us that's getting it anyway. You know what I'm saying, Billy? It ain't us. It's them. So why should I have to not do what they want to do?
Right. All they want you to do is give up your guns. See, son, we ain't giving up our guns. This coronavirus was manufactured by the anti-gun people. I'm telling you.
I know how they got it. See, what had happened was, Billy, a black person went over to China to get some of that there weed and then brought it back. And that's how we got it over here. That's how I knew it. I saw that on the channel. That's what they had said.
That's what they said. Now listen, I know Velma, they went down to church, went on down to Velma's church, over to the United Methodist of the Lutherans of the St. Catholics. And what they had said over there was, you cannot get no corona from eating squirrel or the deer, the venison, sausage meat that we've been making. But it's in chitlins. It's in chitlins and chicken, see? That's why we don't have it. I'm like, the conspiracy theorists, oh boy, there's the brightness is so dull in the mind there. I mean, some of them are just, oh wow.
So, and that to me, if I could just be so forward, if let's just say that those things are true. Let's just say that there's some disproportionate health determinant in the bloodstreams of Black folk that makes us more susceptible to coronavirus. Let's just say that exists. Let's just say that that's something that exists. Why, as a human being, would it be so comfortable for you to say, well, that ain't us, so, open Ross back up? Are you so comfortable with other people who don't look like you dying because you feel like it just ain't you, so you're fine with that? So that's a whole another discussion, like the idiocy, the lack of humanity around that. Yes. We know that that's not true. White folk, Black folk, brown folk, dog folk, kitty folk, bird folk, they all got a little touch of corona. So we've dispelled that. That is an absolute myth. However, the forwardness that one's life is not as valuable as another's life is just disheartening, and that racism showing up in these public spaces is hard, which is why I know a lot of Black and brown people who are not only just having to manage the fallout from corona, whether it's you've lost your job or been furloughed, or someone in your family was sick or had passed away, or just the regular general life stuff that happens when you're just working in regular life outside of a pandemic environment, but then to have to deal with the additional layer of racism.
Yes.
It's like,
as if Okay, genderism, gender discrimination.
Yes.
There on top of it. So you Black, you a woman, and you a Black woman, or all of these different pieces of this. That's why ever since I've had been dealing with the things that I've been dealing with, I go to the same places all the time because of that familiarity. They know me, I know them. Girl, don't let them start somebody new in the store now. They orient to them real quick. Oh, they don't know my name or anything, but they know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And my point being, it breeds a certain amount of, when we do get back out there, what's A, gonna be left out there, and B, how will we be received? I watched these women when we were in the grocery store at 7 o'clock in the morning. I watched these two women standing right next to each other, talking and chatting. I'm coming down the aisle the correct way because there are now arrows that point on the floor on which way to go. There's an arrow that says, stop, you're going the wrong way. This is the one-way aisle. Now, I ain't gonna lie, the first week or two, I didn't notice those arrows until somebody pointed them out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I know how it goes, but as soon as I came down that aisle with my mask on, and I didn't realize I still had on my sunglasses too, I was stared at and looked at. I mean, these two women had stopped their whole conversation to see what I was doing. Even in a pandemic, I'm still gonna turn you still got a moment to pause, Karen, to see if I'm stealing something. I had another two people were talking about the type of mask that I had on, and they were talking behind me. Well, she got an N95, but that's an actual N95 mask. It says it right on the thing. Right on the thing, right on the side of it. I see it. But talking loud enough for me to hear them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just didn't have time or energy that day to entertain it because, I tried to keep my particles within my mask.
Yes.
I just, but any other day, I might have made time. I just ignored it. But I thought, even in a pandemic, I still got to worry about you, Karen. I still have to entertain your notions of, oh, I don't want that. No, I think she touched that. I have on gloves, Karen. You out here with your very bare natural hands touching stuff. I have on gloves, Karen. But you wanna see the manager about my handling of the item and putting the item back on the shelf. And it really, for a moment, I started thinking to myself, well, you did touch it. You should, it. And then I started thinking to myself, that's $7 you didn't want to spend. Why would I outspend? Karen. Then I got indignant and walked by and touched 3, 4, 5 things and put the stuff back. I put it all back. Had it in my cart, put it back out the cart. Put it back over in aisle 6, even though I got it from aisle 2. Since you're looking, Karen.
Yeah,
She needs it. Karen don't take a break. She don't take a break.
won't give anybody else a break either, or the assumption of goodness.
Yes.
Like, can we just can it just be that we're all just trying to figure it out, and that just like you, just like the rest of your families,
Right.
whew, that's a deeper conversation. We
I
need to bring somebody on Current Flow to talk
Yes.
about that.
The psychological warfare of a pandemic for Black people. We started to hit on that. You know what? By the way, welcome to this show. This is the 122nd episode already in progress. We done got that out the way. I'm just Letitia, and on the other microphone is
Hello, peace, y'all.
Hey, y'all. Hey. All right, so back to it. If y'all aren't up on it, you really need to check out the content on Current Flow. We have been bringing it. First of all, we care about what we share with you. We really do.
Mm-hmm.
We work hard to find people who not only are credible, but also honest with you and transparent with you.
Mm-hmm.
People that have experience with this situation.
Mm-hmm.
So our last show was get your coins together, gather them coins during the pandemic with Rich Jones from Paychecks and Balances,
Mm-hmm.
and Stephanie R. Caudle from
Black Girl Group. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so, great show. We've had them on.
Amazing show.
But that's where we normally do that special coverage. But today was just a moment, I think, where we might have needed to just kick it with each other about how our COVID experiences is going. We really don't talk about that. We had something else planned, but this was a moment, you know. I don't know what looking forward looks like for everybody else. There are still some things that haven't changed. If you're a creative person, you know, getting your mind right and keeping your mind right during this time is a crucial concern. Stephanie had mentioned on that last current flow that she's a creative person, but she was like, I'm just too tired. I'm mentally exhausted to create, and that creates nothing getting done, you know, in that space, because I have so many other spaces. So
when she mentioned that on Current Flow, I certainly resonated heavy with that, because as a creative, as an artist especially, we're the protector of words, especially as poets. We protect the words. We curate the stories of the times. So if somebody is not telling the story in a poetic form, then are we going to lose it? You know, 10 years from now, will the COVID reporting be something different?
Right.
So even though we've lived it, but we know that the retelling of stories, especially in our communities, happens in textbooks and major news publications all the time.
Right.
So as an artist, it's like, where's your responsibility as a creator? Where does your responsibility start and stop in this space?
Right.
Like, do you, or are you allowed, or are you affording yourself the opportunity to be human for a moment and just feel what everyone else is feeling? Or do you feel the pressures of having to write that story or make that poem or do that song or paint that portrait, and how that is being managed? Because the artist and the creator's mind and spirit and heart is very different from those who are not as creative. And so that feeling of sadness and anxiousness and all the other things that have happened in this time, where do you put that? Do you just sit with that? So those are questions that I've asked myself, even in the releasing of my album. The writing portion of it, at least, has been done for many months. So I haven't had to write anything, but National Poetry Month, which is in April, came and went.
Right.
And I think I wrote one poem. I couldn't do my 30 for 30 because I just didn't have the spirit for it. The words just was not there for me. I just wanted to be close to my family and nurture some of my projects in a loving way that just wasn't so focused on like being a poet. So I think I don't know if it's guilt that I'm feeling, or if it's maybe I'm missing the space now, because we're getting closer to actually like returning to whatever the newest normal is going to be. But I haven't felt much like being a poet.
It has been, you know, I had several writing things in the middle of it going on. And then when Corona hit, I've been struggling to write because everything comes out sad and anxious and mad. Or, you know, my one character, I done turned him into an idiot that mimics somebody else that we know. You know, all he does is golf all the time. He stay in the Tanners. He does nothing but eat Burger King. He's morbidly obese.
Sounds so familiar.
Does it sound familiar?
It does sounds eerily.
He got 12 wives. He on wife number 82.
But we did do something creative in the writing space. We both entered a contest.
Yes, we did. Oh my gosh. First of all, sis, You know your sister over here suspicious like a mug. I said, oh, somebody done got my sister's stuff. Done sent me this cat. Done sent, I done got a spam. They said that you done paid for the sis. What is this here? She was like, I entered us into a writing contest, both of us. Oh, this is for real. I see. I was quicker than the bank, wasn't I? They got your stuff, girl. They done charged something for me and you, girl. Come on. Report it. But we entered a Thank you so much for even thinking of me like that. I appreciate that, sis. That it just warmed my little heart once I knew it wasn't spam and wasn't no fraud on your card, nothing, you know.
I appreciate you thinking about me, sis, because you know they be trying to get us, sis. They be trying to get us, sis, every time I turn around. But the organization in NYC Midnight does these writing challenges throughout the year, genre based, word specific. Sometimes it's like 100-word, fiction challenge, or 1,000-word nonfiction challenge, or all of these, specialty contests. We're not being sponsored NYC Midnight, but if y'all want to send the Pisces Life a couple of coins, we'll continue to talk about y'all. But we've entered that contest. I've entered that contest previously and got a reminder, a last minute reminder to say this is the last day, to enter this contest. And it was only for 100 words, which I thought would be pretty cool and a nice distraction for what has been going on in the world. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to enter this. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to enter my sister in too, so that we can see if we get to move on. And it's a 3-heat competition. So you write your first heat and then submit your story, and then you get feedback. And if your feedback is good, you get moved on to a second heat. Same thing, and then the finalists get moved into a third and final heat, and then they choose a first, second, and third place winner, I believe. And so it was exciting. It was just fun to write a story with those writing prompts and to think about something other than coronavirus.
It was, but even now that I think about it, I think I might have mentioned like N95 mask in mine. See, it's just everywhere. It's everywhere. I think I might have put that in I might have used 3 words for that. I think. Oh gosh. Oh wow. Well, oh well. That won't be the winner, but it was fun.
A current story. Well, we're waiting for the results. I think we're supposed to hear sometime in June if we get to move to the second heat. So
I know it. What if we both get to move on?
That would be so exciting. This is only 100 words, so it's not like a big commitment. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like Twitter, Twitter, with its character account, maximum. I struggled. I had looked up, and by the time I finished my story, it was 492 words.
That's right.
I said, oh, that's not what the contest is. Okay. 100. Oh.
I said, I wish I'd have read that first. I got excited. Once I found out, I was excited, and I just started writing. I pulled out one story, polished it on up, massaged it. I got to the part where it said 100 words. 100 words. Total?
Like, right. Like, how can you tell a story? I started chipping away. I'm like, oh, Lord, there go the antagonist.
Right.
He's like,
I had just reached the crescendo, the climax. Right here. I was getting ready to foil the whole plot. Right there. That was around word 1,292.
Word to the wise.
Things to put in. Wasn't it cool though that we ended up having the same
it was
category? That was cool.
It was. So what was our category? We had to have
it was fiction. We had to have somebody putting on a disguise. I remember that.
Yes.
What else was it?
Celebrate, the word
Yep, the
celebrate.
word celebrate.
I think that was it.
And then, no, there was a third thing because there was 3 different things that we had to do.
Besides the 100 words?
Drama. It had to
Oh, it
be.
had to be a drama. Yeah, you're right. It had to be a drama versus something else. So, oh, pretty fun. That was good fun. I'm anticipating, and even if we don't move over into the next category, I think we are because we're good writers. But even if we don't move over, or one of us moves over, whatever, I think that we should choose another one of their challenges, and we should write
That
for
would be
it
fun.
because
That would be fun. It was fun. It really was.
yeah, it was good. It was a good distraction.
Yeah.
So, sis, what are you gonna do for Memorial Day weekend?
Well, I caught a grill. So I took my meat over there. You know, it's one of those things where you love when people say, "Hey, we grilling. You want to bring the grill over?" But I realize that not everybody grills the same. Some people, you know, like my dad, he would get up 5 o'clock in the morning. He want that fire going. He
Mm-hmm.
want the meat seasoned the night before, preferably
Mm-hmm.
2 days before if you can, because he really like, you know, he got his thing, had his thing. Um, I ended up catching a grill at a house where they start barbecuing at 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the meat wasn't done until darn near midnight,
Mm-hmm.
which was fine because
Mm-hmm.
I'm very thankful, which is part of the reason why I think I wanted to eat at 3 o'clock in the morning because I hadn't eaten. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to
Right.
do. I have a spot where I can go where it's been socially distanced and I'm related.
Mm-hmm.
So I might go over and see my cousin and sit in the backyard.
Oh,
I might do
nice,
that.
nice.
I haven't seen the kids and they, you know, well, they ain't kids like that. They ain't little people. So what you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
You cooking? Don't say you
Um,
making dressing or else I am in the car with my mask on, gloves too, coming to get me a plate like this. Put mine's out by the curb. Put mine's right by the curb.
we grilled actually on Friday for dinner, so I think that we're not gonna grill this
Okay.
weekend. I think tonight I'm gonna do catfish and
Oh,
macaroni and cheese, or maybe some spaghetti or
maybe
something
I'm
like
in the
that.
car after all.
Mhm.
It ain't got to be
So,
grilling. That tickled all my taste buds. What?
yes, yes. So I think we're gonna do that maybe. If you are following me on the Instagram at Kai Loves You Too, you will see that I posted up a picture of myself holding the kickball because I
Yes.
am a kickball beast. So I think we're gonna play kickball the social distance way with my family in our cul-de-sac, so we can get some exercise
Yeah.
because we all have been in the house this past week a
Mm-hmm.
lot more than we normally have been because it's
Rain.
been so rainy
Yes.
here. I'm itching to kind of get out and exercise my body a
Mm-hmm.
little bit and get some sunshine on my face. So I just think we're gonna be low key
Yeah.
and just hang out.
I feel
Yeah.
you. I got a couple of video calls scheduled. Unfortunately, during this time, we lost one of our sorority sisters, my Sands, that we had pledged
Mm.
with. And so there'll be some of us getting together tonight to remember her. And Versus, before we get out of here, Versus went to Jamaica. First of all,
Yeah.
I couldn't help but notice that in the middle of Jamaica, they had not one problem with that sound, Teddy Riley. The entourage was hyped up with all their mics working, Teddy Riley. They got down. I couldn't understand nothing that was going on. Every once in a while I keep to boom boom and everybody give me that top man. Everybody give me that coat. Every now and then I get one of them, but every now I didn't know what was going on. But the energy was incredible, and it wasn't nothing but I counted I think 5 of them. They each had their DJ and they did it together and it was live. Like they performed, which was what I wanted to see. They went, you got your record, play my record, mom, boom, boom, pick, and it was on.
For all the musicians out there, the Jamaican foundation rhythm is the repeat of 3
Mm-hmm.
chords. The uh, 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 uh,
Right.
uh, 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 you know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so if you know that, then you can move in and out of that space live without having too much interruption, unlike a lot of like the New Jack Swing music, which was a mixture of lots of things and some samples, and what hip hop is and what soul music has become. Like it's hard to kind of move in and out of that unless you are like really skilled with sound and know which BPM and all of that other stuff. There's a Jamaican club here in Chicago called the Wild Hair, legendary Wild Hair, and it doesn't matter what's happening. Like it could go from just regular talking, me and you just talking about whatever. The next thing you know is like, you'd be like, wait a minute.
That just took me out. You said, what?
Be like, what just happened here? Be like, oh, my love, oh, love. And
Watch me now. When somebody say that, that's when I get to check it. Watch me now. That's the call right there.
Yes. We went to the Wild Hair in December. We hadn't been in a long time. And we went for my guy's birthday. Surprised him and took him because he loves reggae music. And it was so good to just hear that music live. And they jammed a live reggae version of Maxi Priest's I Just Want to Be Close to You.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I was just so caught up in the moment. Now, that could have been the 3 red stripes I had and two rum punches top of that. Rum puncha. You want the rum punch? I got the rum punch. Rum punch, rum punch, rum punch, rum punch, rum punch, rum punch.
What? That's all it was last night on Versus, girl. For like 2.5. Rum punch it up, one about a punch it up, rum punch it up, rum punch. Hey, what that punch it up? What the punch it now? What that punch it now? That punch. I was like, is he punching someone? What is he doing? I don't know. Oh, girl, it was hilarious. I enjoyed it, but I couldn't take it for long because it.
Oh, yeah, it gets a little intensive.
It does, and they didn't quit 2.5 hours, and they did not quit.
That's how the parties in Jamaica be. You'd be like, when you as an American, if you are there just visiting or on a cruise, you go to a for real Jamaican club, like not one that's associated, with the resorts, but like a for real one. You just be after about an hour, you'd be like, I need to go home.
A minute.
First of all,
they get down different.
The secondhand smoke just be a little much.
What Tim say now? Him said we go out now. Him said we go out. We go back to the resort now. I couldn't get it together.
Right. Be like, oh, you had too much fun. I can tell you had too much fun. I told you not go by that tree. I told you not. You went Tinty way. I see you.
Girl, that's what last night did. I started thinking about all the times I've been to Jamaica, Lord Jesus. Club Amnesia, I didn't go to it for that reason. It tells you what's going to happen in the title of the club. You want to forget your life. You done had so much fun up in there. It was the other people who went on the trip, they all speak of it in those terms. We don't remember.
It was fun, though. You can say that. It was fun. We had a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm thankful to all the people who are pushing through this time and sharing themselves, whether it's musically, artistically, creatively, encouraging, praying, meditation, whatever you are doing for another person in this time outside of yourself. Even though you're in it with us, I am just thankful for you and your heart, because it is those connections that are really keeping us all uplifted and moving in the right direction. So thank you for that. Well, sis, this was This was good. I needed this. This was like a sister girl catch
We needed
up.
to catch up, girl. And next time, though, or sometime, we got to talk about Insecure.
We have to. We might need to make that a special show.
We should make that a special show because I have a lot to say about it. Because I think this season, they just really hitting on the real about being friends and in a space of loving each other so hard, but you growing, changing, moving, and it feels out of sorts and all of that.
It is so much to unpack here, and I want us to take our time with it too. Because,
another thing that we want to remind you again, get into Current Flow if you haven't already. It's still right across all of our stations that we're on SoundCloud, on our Facebook page, on our Instagram, on our Twitter. You can always find where we are. One thing I will say, and when we do our special for Insecure, we need to talk about my man Kendrick. His Instagram be so interesting. I went by because I couldn't sleep at 3:00 in the morning, and apparently he can't either. He be up on the Instagram without his shirt on. Is thirst trappish or is it? I don't know.
It's we have so much to talk about. Asian Bay is an actual Asian that lives in Australia.
And his Bay is black, honey. He got him a cuisine.
We're gonna save it.
I know we got it. We gotta
save it for the show. We gotta save it. We gotta save it, bro. Well, that's been another episode of the Pisces Life podcast. We thank y'all for tuning in and listening to us. Sis, if they're looking for you, where can they find you at?
You can still find me on the Instagram, on the Twitter, and also on the Facebook at I am just Letitia, Letitia, word of caution. If you move like a catfish, I'ma assume that you a catfish. Don't have 25 million posts one day and then a different post on the next day. I'm not going to accept those friends.
She's serious. Don't be coming to my sis for unofficial. You ain't got to have a blue check mark. Have social memory. Right. You got to be on the mark.
If I'm the only one you following, let me know when you get some more followers.
Come on back around.
I'm kind of sedity with my stuff. I don't like to just be all follow willy-nilly. And Cedric the Entertainer said, don't be following me all willy-nilly. Wait till you get your followers up, boo. Sis, if they looking for you, of course I'm just teasing them. You know, I do accept people. But if they looking for you, where can they find you at besides on Spotify with your music?
Yeah, so my album is still delayed because my distribution company is behind because of coronavirus. So it was supposed to drop last Wednesday. I don't know when it's going to drop. I'm just going to stop saying dates. When it come out, I'll let y'all know, okay? That's
the release date. Here. When I say, when you hear me say.
When it come out. When it come out is when it's the release day. But y'all can find me on Twitter and Facebook at Kai Loves You, KAILOVSU. If you're following me on Instagram, that's Kai Loves You Too. Just add the number 2 to that. Kai Loves You Too. If you want to send some feedback to the podcast, please send us an email to thepisceslife@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at Pisces Podcast, one word. And we are the Pisces Life Podcast on Instagram. I think that
is it. Listen, you enjoy the rest of this weekend with your pretty self, girl. Get that hair together,
you too, girlfriend.
Girl. Go ahead.
Yeah, girl. Get it together. And we out of here, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
The Pisces Life, the Pisces Life.